Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting version of Chip Talks. Today, we're going to talk about pain, and we're going to talk about what causes pain, what pain is, and ways that you can naturally help your pain and fight your pain, let's say at home, and then things that might help you with your pain as you look at like natural products and even cannabinoids, things like that. So we're going to talk all of that through today. So the first thing let's talk through, though, is a little bit about, how you work. So let's explain pain and kind of, what pain's there for and what pain does. So we all know about, touch a hot stove and bam, we have an immediate reaction. We recoil from that pain. Well, if you think about the mechanisms in that whole activity, so you have nerves that are in your fingers that are sensitive to hot, that signal this immediate kind of pain response to you, this big warning, like move your hand from the stove or you're going to cause damage to your hand, right? So that's appropriate. So we want those kind of pain responses. We don't want that same level of pain constantly happening, 6 hours after we touch that hot stove, let's say. So we don't want that pain signaling to continue. That pain signaling is there to get you to remove yourself from the stimulation, right? Mainly, or to let you know that you're injured and the extent of your injury. So, if you fall off a cliff and break your leg, again, the amount of pain there, first of all, you're going to go numb and pretty much narcotic out the pain, but the amount of pain is indicative of the injury. And so honestly, the worse the injury, the less the pain will be because of the narcotic kind of aspects of things in your body that happen when you have really severe pain. So most of us that suffer from, let's say, daily pain, like for instance, I have some back pain. My back pain started when I was 30 something and thought I was the strongest man in the world and tried to lift something, with my knees and back that was way too heavy for probably two people, and ended up, literally saw stars, felt this explosion in my back and kind of blew out, let's say, my back a little bit. Now I've been able to function past that. I mean, I don't play golf anymore, but I have played golf throughout my life, which is a lot of, torquing and stuff on the back, and been able to, Cindy and I just moved our entire office from Owasso to Ada and then to Edmond. And so, certainly I'm able to perform with a lot of back pain, but it hurts, and it hurts when I exercise and do things. And I'm, again, I know I'm on the 1 to 2 end of the 1 to 10 scale as far as where most of you guys are at. So I watch my wife every day. She's got 2-level spinal fusion and kind of everything that relates to in her life and how she's got scoliosis. And so she's in a lot of pain every day. And so I see that every day and I see how it affects her and, how good days are, emotionally, she seems to be better and bad days, it's harder for her emotionally. So pain really affects a lot of things in our life. And if you look at the reason for medicine, throughout history, so you can go all the way back to, Hippocrates and even, Hermes. And I guess Hermes is about as far back as you can go. But you'll always find these people being sought upon to, come on, doc, help me with my pain, right? So pain is a big thing for all of us. And pain is something that is a stimulation for us to worry about our health, know something is wrong with us and seek additional answers. So pain is not a bad thing. I mean, pain is a good thing. I mean, it will keep you from doing a lot of things you shouldn't, which is, arguably good, although it hurts. So let's talk a little bit about what pain is in the endocannabinoid system and how pain works. Okay. So first of all, we have to really understand the endocannabinoid system and what the endocannabinoid system is. So first of all, it is looking to be our master regulatory system. That's a little misleading because it's involved, let's say, in all our regulatory processes, kind of up and down. So it's inhibitory, so it slows things down, or it excites things, which speeds things up. And it's involved in, almost all of those processes. But the main thing, and again, it can be excitatory, so it can cause you to inflame under certain circumstances, and it's involved with inflammation, on kind of the uptick. But here's the way that it looks like kind of we work or we're designed. And again, God is a perfect engineer. He designed you to be perfect. He designed you to be perfect in your function. But what we need to understand is we are engineered. God built us this vehicle, this, let's say, monkey man vehicle that we're all driving. Well, this monkey man vehicle is able to be understood. It works like a vehicle, but we just need to not listen to the chaos and confusion, I guess, being foisted upon us from out there. And we need to just logically deconstruct how this vehicle works. So that's what I spend my life doing. Hopefully I can give you guys a little bit of a head start on all the things that I've had to learn in order to do that. And that's why I'm doing these podcasts, is to give you a head start, to teach you something, to teach you a little bit different basis for how to view human health, monkey man health, right? So, and again, in my mind, I'm a soul, I'm a beautiful incarnated spirit that's doing my time here on this freaking planet, but I'm doing my time here in this vehicle that I drive, this human monkey man vehicle that I'm driving every day. So again, understanding this monkey man vehicle is possible, and we can certainly do that. So how does the vehicle work? And how does the vehicle, let's say, deal with things like pain? Well, again, pain is a stimulus to get you to move away from something, to get you to understand that something hurts, to get you to understand that something is doing damage to your body, to get you to, move away from the stimulus, to do something different. So pain is there for a reason, a very, good and warranted reason. But the way that this works, and you can think of this, let me explain this through fight or flight, okay? And then we'll come back to pain. And pain is really part of our fight or flight expression. But we all know that, when we get scared, when somebody makes a loud bang behind us, or a bear comes charging out of the woods at us, that we're going to have a very strong physiological reaction. Meaning that immediately all these chemicals are going to be released. So we're going to release cortisol, and cortisol will help us, move faster, move quicker, noradrenaline, which is norepinephrine. So we release all of these chemicals that help us think faster, they help us move faster, and they help us basically make better decisions. And that's what you want in the middle of a fight or flight thing. So you don't have time to really, I should consider 6 different possibilities for this bear charging out of the woods at me. No, you need a quick, rapid, best decision right away. Bam! So that's what happens under fight or flight, right? And so we've all experienced this. But here's the question. How do you know, how does your body know? And I know part of this is your brain, but how does your body know how to reel that back in? So how do you know the difference between, somebody, dropped a book behind you and made a loud noise versus bear charging out of the woods, right? Because they're 2 different dramatic reactions are warranted. So how do we know the difference, right? Well, again, it has to do with the endocannabinoid system. So as we're making these hypothalamus hippocampus decisions like, it's just a book and Joe is trying to scare me and it's not a giant bear charging out of the woods, then we'll gate back that fight or flight reaction, right? So we'll begin to control back those neurochemicals that we release. We'll begin to gate back that reaction. And the way that gating back happens is with the endocannabinoid system. So the endocannabinoid system can be excitatory. I'm not saying that it's only inhibitory, but what I am saying is that it sure looks like it's the reel back mechanism for our reactions to things. And you can look at this, again, it's not as well known and it won't mean as much to you guys, but you can look at this from an immune response perspective too. So again, as soon as you see something in your body and you sense these things through receptors called TLR, toll-like receptors, but as soon as you see something in your body that's not you, bam, you have a reaction to it, right? You have an immediate reaction to it in your immune system, and that reaction can be very severe. And this was what was happening in things like the cytokine storms that we were hearing about with COVID. So that's a very, very severe, that's a there's a bear charging out of the woods kind of reaction that our immune system is having. But what reels that back in, what gates that reaction, that immune response, is the endocannabinoid system, okay? So in a similar way, when we have a pain response, right? So that pain response is going to be, bear charging out of a woods right away. And then we're going to kind of gate that back to a normal pain response. So, when you touch that hot stove, again, that's a bear charging out of the woods. You need to move your hand immediately, or you're going to have more severe damage to your hand. Wow. So we all understand that as a pretty severe pain response. The nagging, lingering pains that we may have from a past trauma, like my back, like my wife's 2-level spinal fusion, are more related to, let's say, responses that are stuck, responses that don't have enough juice to really kind of complete or go away. Okay. And so like my back, again, my back is still damaged. It's, hurt. It still hurts every day. It still gets inflamed, and it still has a need for stem cells. And, if I'm your body, how am I going to tell you something? Well, if I need something, right? So I'm going to provide stimulation to you, and that might be pain. And in fact, it is pain in these cases. And we just don't understand this response. So we don't understand, hey, Chip, your back hurts because you need stem cells and anti-inflammatories in order to complete the repair that your body is trying to do. And because your body can't complete that repair, it's telling you by doing the only thing that it can do, giving you a pain response. Okay. So that's kind of how it works. And again, most of us are, as to pain, most of us, I would say, are in the category of a trauma that we have not been able to repair, and that causes lingering, let's say, pain responses, like a bad knee, a bad back, neck, physical spine trauma, things like that. Some of us are in the category where we have signaling pain, and this is usually worse, meaning that, and these two are completely two different things, although they kind of have the same genesis, but signaling pain would be more like shingles, right? So I have shingles. Shingles is not really associated with any trauma. Shingles is a immune kind of response. It's a virus, but it's your body is responding to those shingles. And that's a different kind of pain. That's a fiery, persistent, if you ever had neck, issues, you'll know what I'm talking about. The fiery pain is different than the kind of my back hurts kind of pain. But anyway, those are two different kinds of pain. And the way that we address those different kinds of pain in your body, or at least in a formulary. So if I'm trying to help you, let's say, with those types of pain, and we'll get to the big picture here in a second with pain, but I just want to kind of give you these tips. So the signaling type pain is looking like it's really helped with things like clove and licorice. And there's, reasons for that, and the flavonoids and things, which I'll save for another show. I won't walk you down that path. But licorice and clove seem to be very, very good at signaling type pain, and they will blunt signaling type pain. On the inflammatory type pain, the pain that most of us suffer with, again, licorice and clove will also help. They'll help with the blunting of the pain, but they won't really help with the inflammatory response. And that inflammatory response is chained to the pain response, meaning that it's a way that my body is telling me that I've still got inflammation, I've still got areas that I need to repair, and that's why they hurt, right? So that's why they're hurt. It's just my body's way to feedback, hey, Chip, in a perfect world, we would have a solution for this, so go find your solution, but I need to tell you this every single day because I need repair, I need stuff, and I'm not getting what I need. So I'm going to send this to you via a pain signal, okay? And that's associated with inflammation. And this is the rabbit hole that I really wanted to go down and explain. Because this crosstalk, let's say, between an inflammatory response and pain signaling is linked by the endocannabinoid system, okay? So if you're having it doesn't matter if it's chronic inflammation or acute inflammation, your endocannabinoid system will be intimately involved. So it's part of the thing that signals basically your immune cells to begin the inflammatory process. So it is in control, let's say, of that inflammatory process, and it's trying the best that it can to regulate it. Again, it's regulating finer actions too. But in that chronic, let's say, inflammation-based pain response, pain cascade, what happens is as that inflammation is happening, you're ending up using a lot of endocannabinoid resources. So what happens is we have to step on the gas with something called AEA. and or anandamide. And anandamide is our main, let's say, signaling molecule in the endocannabinoid system, but it's also our main engineering control surface, let's say, along with CB1 receptors. So the more we're trying to control something, the more anandamide we're going to try to throw at it, and the more CB1 receptors we're going to get to express. So it's our control surface, if you will. If you're wanting to control an organ or a cell, or a muscle system, or nerve system, or whatever, you're going to do it in this manner. So express a bunch of CB1s and then hit it with a bunch of anandamide. So in inflammation, this machinery is running like crazy because your body is trying to, let's say, repair, an area of attack. It's trying to kill the thing that it thinks is attacking it. So you've got chronic inflammation, and all of us are chronically inflamed. So this is kind of our new normal, but it shouldn't be our normal. But our new normal is chronically inflamed. So we all have this going on. So we all have the gas stepped on in the endocannabinoid system, where we're making a lot of anandamide. And when we're making a lot of anandamide, we also have to make a lot of the control mechanism that kind of gates it back, called fatty acid amyl hydrolase, or FAAH. So I'll say FAAH a lot, but FAAH is fatty acid amyl hydrolase. And so what FAAH does is it breaks down anandamide and creates something called arachidonic acid. So arachidonic acid is involved in this loop, and the COX-2 neuroreceptors are involved in this loop. In fact, why NSAIDs, things like Tylenol, ibuprofen, all that junk, why they work is they inhibit the COX-2 receptor. And when you inhibit that, you get in the middle of this kind of anandamide being broken down by FAAH, but trying to basically express to help you control your inflammation. So when you inhibit the COX-2 neuroreceptor, you get in the middle of this, and that turns out that's pretty good for pain. But it's not the genesis of, let's say, the pain signal. So that pain signal is coming from not enough anandamide to basically alleviate that pain signal. And why would this happen? You don't have enough control surface. Your body is not generating enough control surface and enough control area to be able to address whatever that is. So bad back, and again, it could have to do with stem cells, it could have to do with a lot of things, but it's usually a resource issue. So you have competition for anandamide. Again, anandamide's being broken down like crazy by FAAH, and anandamide is the guy that you need really to mitigate pain. So what can you do? Well, it turns out that there are ways that you can slow down this let's say, decimation of anandamide process and create more anandamide, which is really cool. And you can do this without, stimulating your body to make more anandamide. You're already doing that anyway if you're chronically inflamed. But what we can do is we can get in the middle of the breakdown of anandamide, fatty acid amyl hydrolase, and we can inhibit that breakdown. If we inhibit that breakdown, then that causes more anandamide, more surface area, and more ability to control pain. And guess what? It will mitigate your pain response, which is really cool. And there's research after research after research out there on this, but you can, if you want to look for yourself, look up anandamide and pain, or AEA and pain, and you will get all you want. But what I'm telling you about is basically the mechanisms that cause this to happen. So God is a perfect engineer. In a perfect world, again, you have something happen to you, your immune response works, you begin to repair the damage, you mitigate the inflammation, the pain response goes away. But if you're chronically inflamed, again, you're going to have a chronic pain response somewhere, and it's usually at the area of that inflammation. So chronic inflammation equals chronic pain, and it's just that easy. How do you fix chronic pain? Well, inhibit FAAH is a good way, but you need to increase the surface area of anandamide, or AEA, the AEA molecule. All right, so wow, it was a lot of science and stuff, wasn't it? And you're like, gee, Chip, you just filled my head with a lot of stuff. What can I do at home? Can I bring this power that you're telling me back to my household? And Chip, I'm not a, I'm a religious person. I'm not a cannabis person. I don't smoke marijuana. I don't want a marijuana solution. I just want a natural product solution. Well, yeah, okay. Guess what inhibits FAAH? This is so cool. Chickpeas. Yeah. Chickpeas. There's lots of things. Again, you can look up, and the thing that inhibits FAAH is something, it's a chemical that's in nature. God created it for us. It's called biochanin A. And biochanin A will inhibit FAAH and will help you with a pain response. And biotin A is in a plant called red clover. It's in chickpeas. You can look up what it's in, but it's in a lot of stuff, let's say in nature, for the very reasons that we're talking about. So again, taking red clover, taking chickpeas, if you're hurting, is gonna help your pain. As simple and easy as that sounds. So the answers are always in the endocannabinoid system. You can't map out how you work as a monkey man without understanding the endocannabinoid system and its implications in everything that you do. Why this seems so occulted and hidden, and why they want to keep this from you so bad, boys and girls, I don't know. But I'm here to teach it to you, which is kind of fun. And we'll see if we ever find a voice or not. We are a little bit. Anyway, but thank you guys. Appreciate your attention and your attentiveness, I want to say, but you're basically being intentional about pain and your astuteness. So intention and astuteness, I kind of put together in one word there. But we'll see you again on another upcoming and exciting episode of Chip Talks. But remember, pain is associated with your endocannabinoid system, and pain is a lack of something called anandamide, AEA, which is the main element in your endocannabinoid system. You can increase the amount of AEA by inhibiting the uptake of AEA, and you do that, and that's called FAAH, and you do that with FAAH inhibitors, which can be found in nature. Chickpeas and red clover too. So there you go. If you're hurting, get some hummus, eat some hummus. We'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Talk to you later.